Hey everyone, it's Andy, and we've gathered today to read the chapters 17 and 18 in the book of Exodus. Last time we left our hero, and that's Moses, by the way. The Lord was raining down bread and meat on the ancient Israelites as they went through the desert for 40 years. But what about the water? You may be asking yourself, what are they drinking? That's a good question. Moses is going to use his magic staff once again and whammy up some water. Now it's time to get serious. How did Moses deal with all the disputes amongst his people? Another good question. Chapter 18 takes a stab at that answer. Let's start chapters 17 and 18 in the book of Genesis. It's gonna be a hoot. Water from the rock. The whole Israelite community set out from the desert of Sin, traveling from the place to place as the Lord commanded. They camped at Rephidim, but there was no water for the people to drink. So they quarreled with Moses and said, "Give us water to drink." And Moses replied, "Why do you quarrel with me? Why do you put the Lord to the test?" Probably because they were thirsty, and you can't go for 3 days without drinking water, but that's besides the point. But the people were thirsty for water there, and they grumbled against Moses. They said, "Why did you bring us out of Egypt to make us and our children and livestock die of thirst?" It's a good question when you really think about it. Then Moses cried out to the Lord, "What am I to do with these people? These people that you made that need to drink water and that were in the desert for some reason for 40 years. They are almost ready to stone me." The Lord answered Moses, "Go out in front of the people. Take with you some of the elders of Israel and take in the hand the staff with which you struck the Nile and go. I will stand there before you by the rock at Horeb. Strike the rock, and water will come out of it for the people to drink." So Moses did this in the sight of the elders of Israel. And he called, just to show that he was doing, I don't know why it was necessary. And he called the place Massa and Meribah, because the Israelites quarreled and because they tested the Lord, saying, "Is the Lord among us or not?" It's more like whether or not God cares whether or not you die of thirst. But that's another question. The Amalekites defeated. The Amalekites came and attacked the Israelites at Rephidim. Moses said to Joshua, "Choose some of our men and go out to fight the Amalekites." This is one of my favorite parts of the Bible, by the way. "Tomorrow I will stand on the top of the hill with the staff of God in my hands." So Joshua fought the Amalekites. This is the first mention of Joshua, by the way. And ordered as Moses, Aaron, and Hur, H-U-R, went to the top of the hill. As long as Moses held up his hands, he held his hands up, the Israelites were winning. But whenever he lowered his hands, the Amalekites were winning. See, that's magic. You got to hold your hands up. When Moses' hands grew tired, they took a stone and put it under him, and he sat on it. Aaron and Hur held his hands up, one on each side, one on the other, so that his hands remained steady until sunset. So Joshua overcame the Amalekite army with the sword. So Moses had his hands up in the air, like God just didn't care. Then the Lord said to Moses, "Write this on a scroll as something to be remembered, and make sure that Joshua hears it, because I will completely blot out the name of Amalek from under heaven." He's going to blot out those whole people. Moses built an altar and called it "The Lord is my banner." He said, "Because hands were lifted up against the throne of the Lord will be at war against the Amalekites from generation to generation." There's another section in the Bible that the Amalekites get wiped out, but that's later. Jethro visits Moses, chapter 18. Now Jethro, the priest of Midian and father-in-law of Moses, heard of everything Moses had done for Moses. God had done for Moses and for his people Israel, and how the Lord had brought Israel out of Egypt. After Moses had sent away his wife Zipporah, his father-in-law Jethro received her and her 2 sons. One son was named Gershom, for Moses said, I have become a foreigner in a foreign land. And the other was named Eliezer, for he said, my father's God was my helper. He saved me from the sword of Pharaoh. Pretty catchy stuff, don't you think? Jethro, Moses' father-in-law, together with Moses' sons and wife, came to him in the wilderness, where he was camped near the mountain of God, Sinai. Jethro had sent word to him, I, your father-in-law Jethro, am coming with you, with your wife and her 2 sons. So Moses went out to meet his father-in-law and bowed down and kissed him. They greeted each other and then went into the tent. Moses told his father-in-law about everything the Lord had done to Pharaoh and the Egyptians, killing the frogs, the blood, everything, for Israel's sake, and about all the hardships they had met along the way and how the Lord had saved them. Jethro was delighted to hear about all the good things the Lord had done for Israel in rescuing them from the hand of the Egyptians. He said, what did he say? Here it comes. Praise be to the Lord, who rescued you from the hand of the Egyptians and of Pharaoh, and who rescued the people from the hand of the Egyptians. Now I know that the Lord is greater than all the other gods. See, now here's the thing too. Here, they don't say that there aren't gods. There are gods. The Lord is just greater than those gods. For he did this to those who had treated Israel arrogantly. Then Jethro, Moses' father-in-law, brought a burnt offering and other sacrifices to God. And Aaron came with all the elders of Israel to eat a meal with Moses' father-in-law in the presence of God. I guess they had a picnic by the Ark of the Covenant. The next day Moses took his seat to serve as a judge for the people, and they stood around him from morning till evening. When his father-in-law saw all that Moses was doing for the people, he said, What? What is this you are doing for the people? Why do you alone sit as judge, while all these people stand around you from morning to evening? It's like a really horrible episode of Judge Judy. Moses answered to him, Because the people come to me to seek God's will. Whenever they have a dispute, it is brought to me, and I decide between the parties and inform them of God's decrees and instructions. Moses' father-in-law replied, What you are doing is not good. You can just imagine giving him a dope slap too. You and these people who come to you will only wear yourselves out. The work is too heavy for you. You cannot handle it alone. Listen now to me, and I will give you some advice. And may God be with you. You must be the people's representative before God and bring their disputes to him. Teach them his decrees and instructions, and show them the way they are to live and how they are to behave. But select capable men, not women, men, from all the people, men who fear God, trustworthy men who hate dishonest gain. Just like our president, right? He hates dishonest gain. And appoint them as officials over thousands, hundreds, fifties, and tens. Have them serve as judges for the people at all times, but have them bring every difficult case to you. The simple ones they can decide among themselves. That they will make your load lighter because they will share it with you. If you do this, and that God so commands, you will be able to stand the strain, and all these people will go home satisfied. I really think that's not possible. I don't think everyone's going to be satisfied. They'll be less miserable, maybe. Moses listened to his father-in-law and did everything he said. Everything. He chose capable men from all Israel and made them leaders of the people, officials over thousands, hundreds, fifties, and tens. They served as judges for the people at all times The difficult cases they brought to Moses, but the simple ones they decided themselves. See, Moses was creating a small bureaucracy, a small judicial system. Then Moses sent his father-in-law on his way, and Jethro returned to his own country. All right, that's it. Those are the 2 chapters. I hope you had a good time. I had a good time. Thanks for watching. Please hit the like button, wherever that may be, and subscribe. I will see you next time. Take care. Be good. I'll try to be good.